What's going on, guys? I want to welcome you back. So you've come here to learn how to play Magik, the highest win rate duelist in all of the game, but often one of the most misplayed. Well, today we definitely have you covered because I'll be teaming up with Rymazing, who's often the #1 ranked DPS in all of Marvel Rivals, and he just so happens to be a Magik main. In today's complete Magik guide, you'll learn everything you need to know on how to master Magik, from beginner combos to advanced tactics, pro strategies, and mobility positioning matchups, and more. Now, Magik is a melee assassin who defines the word duelist. Her kit is quite literally created to get the kill and get out. Now, not only being a fantastic damage dealer, she's also pretty good at survivability and being a soft tank. She's slippery, hard to kill, and the fear of all supports and squishies on the enemy team. Your job is to keep that fear throughout the match, having your opponent second guess if you might be behind them. Now let's go to kick things off with her abilities, how to min-max them, what are some beginner, advanced, and then again, more pro tips with each and every one. Starting off with the Soulsword, her primary source of damage. This simple slash can do up to 65 damage per slice at a range of 6.5 meters, so a pretty generous distance, but it does have some damage fall off, which is important to know. Now, after all, it is a sword, so there isn't a lot to talk about, but there are some cool things about Magik's sword and the way that it interacts with other characters. Now, for starters, it can hit through multiple enemies at the same time. So if everybody's hiding behind the tank, no big deal. You can slice through all of them. But also, speaking of tanks, take Doctor Strange, for example. This can go through shields, but it also damages the shield as well. This combined damage is not used enough, as a lot of people try to only flank with Magik, but again, she can be a soft tank if you only have one on your team, and it makes her an excellent choice against the big shield heroes. Now, what separates somebody trying to play Magik versus someone that wants to master the character is throwing in the extra melee. This not only gives you a nice cancel to her long sword animation, but it's something that I personally just avoided learning. It wasn't something I burnt into my head, and once I started doing it, it's a drastic DPS difference. I mean, you guys can just watch this clip against two Groots, one of us using the melee cancel and the other not, and you guys can see the time to kill is pretty significant. Now, next up is Magik's kind of only range attack, and that is Magik Slash. This can be charged up for more damage. It takes about 2 seconds to do so. A lesser charge is going to deal 45 damage, with the max charge dealing 90 on the 6-second cooldown. Now, what's great about this is you use it in two different ways. You can use it for the 45 damage for a quick amount of damage in a combo, or you can charge it up when entering the fight. Now, typically I'm using this as poke damage, somebody trying to run away to open up a combo. I find myself using it to enter a fight more than anything else, but it's definitely great to finish off the kill. Next up, let's go and talk about her stepping discs. This is Magik's main distraction, diversion, and damage setup, and it's great for overall mobility and giving Magik an escape. Now, Magik's portals are going to teleport her a short distance while also giving her invincibility. This has 2 charges on cooldown every 6 seconds, so you'll be using this a lot. Now, once you as Magik will go through the portal, you'll have 30 seconds to decide which of the 2 abilities is best to use in the given fight. Now, the first one being her whirlwind attack. Now, when you're starting off as Magik, this is typically one that you kind of cling to a bit more than the other. Magik's going to fling her sword in a circle of 6 meters and 5 meters high, so you can go both vertical and horizontal, damaging 45 damage to everybody within it. This is obviously good when people group up for a mass amount of burst damage to build up on her passive, but let's go ahead and let Rymazing talk about the best way to use the whirl.
Yeah, so when you use your portal, it'll give you an option to either do the whirl or the demon. And so to do the whirl on your dash, you just portal and then whirl and dash at the same time, and it'll hit anyone basically in the range of your dash as you're dashing.
This was truly a technique that took some time to get down. It's a very simple concept, but once you can land this time after time, your DPS goes way up. Now, the other ability you can choose to use out of the portal is Magik's Demons, which in my opinion is probably the most slept on piece of her entire kit. When I started using Magik, I did not use these demons in the right way, or I would use them every now and then. Now, Magik's Demons are the second ability you can choose from, and in my opinion, are probably the most slept on piece of her entire kit. I would say when I started playing Magik, I definitely used the world more, but I wish I learned how and when to use the demons a lot quicker. Guys, these little small terrors drop 80 damage per second, lasting 4 seconds for a maximum of 320 damage, which is an insane amount of DPS when you think about it. They can cleave and hit multiple people at once, and they only have 100 health, but with all the crazy stuff going on in Rivals and the opponent worrying about Black Panther up their ass, they're not even going to think about this demon, and so it does live way more than you think. Now, there's a lot of ins and outs of mastering demons, and it's going to take a lot of games to get used to it, but Your main mission for the demons should be placements behind enemies while they're pushing on the payload or behind their defense to put some pressure. But you can also put them on top of the payload or objective, or going up in the sky and aiming them down is a great way for them just to get a ton of damage on a huge amount of characters. Or my personal favorite, when that brave DPS or support finally decides it's time to challenge you in their backline, you simply place it in a doorway or in your path for a quick amount of damage. Now, obviously, stepping discs is a great way for Magik to escape, and so these demons are always good to separate you and whoever's trying to kill you so that you can get out of the fight. Her dash, her passive, and her stepping discs allow her to where Magik doesn't need to die all that often and makes her incredibly tanky. Now, some last cool facts about the demons. Number 1, they're great against Punisher turrets.
I actually like to put my demons on group walls because I can break a bunch of walls at once. One note about Loki is I like to put my demons on his clones because it'll break the clone completely and it'll give me a bunch of shields because it's dealing damage to the clones. Sometimes I will play in my own demon in case you sleep me, so if you want to sleep me.
Now, Magik's next ability is her dash. Now, this is going to be Magik's main tool for her mobility to set up combos, to slip through the enemies, or to get to a different place within the map. Magik can dash up to 16 meters or before she meets her target, and she can deal 85 damage on a successful hit. Now, I'm sure you've heard this a lot, but by now you should know that the way third-person games work, you should always aim to the right of a character and not the left for a significant easier time to land your dash. This was something I personally had to kind of remember in the game. It's not something you're going to think about, but if you keep reminding yourself to dash right during your engagements, you're going to see a huge difference. Now, last but not least, on normal Magik is this passive that I keep talking about. Now, Magik's passive is going to convert 30% of the damage into bonus health to herself for a maximum of 150 bonus health. Now, this in turn makes her an incredibly high skill ceiling character because quite literally, the better you are at Magik, the more you're going to survive and the more damage you're going to do. Now, with Magik, having this passive means you should always be aiming to do damage. For instance, if there's 2 support Luna ults at the same time, you should just be chopping away at the enemy's health. Even though it's not going to go down, your health is going to go up. There's a lot of ways to combine all of her abilities to min-max this passive. For one, again, the demons are great, but if they're all grouped up together, you can deal that 45 damage to a large sum of enemies to get a ton of shields all at once. If you manage to hit 3 people with the whirl, you pretty much have the max bonus health. Next up, we have Darkchild, Magik's ultimate glass cannon form for 12 seconds. Now, Darkchild is going to give every single one of Magik's abilities a significant bump up in damage alongside different enhancements.
Usually in a game, when I have Darkchild, I'm thinking about enemy ultimates before I even pop it, right? I'm kind of planning, how are they going to react to Darkchild? Do they have Luna ult? Do they have Mantis ult? Do they have nothing? Because that obviously changes like what I'm going to do with Darkchild, right? Because if they have Luna ult, I'm going to pop it and get their Luna ult out, and I'm probably going to leave, right? There's nothing to do. I'm going to take that trade. But if they have nothing for it, I'm going to plan to more full commit, use all my cooldowns in there. So you have to be kind of tracking, thinking about how the enemy team is going to react. So that's the first thing before you even pop it is... thinking about how the enemy team is going to react and how you should play it. Next thing is, Darkchild actually refreshes all of your cooldowns. So if you use everything and then go into Darkchild, it'll give you everything back. I usually kind of wait to set up so that my team is ready to push with it. I'll ask for Mantis damage boost, Mag bubble. I'll ask for cooldowns for my teammates to put onto me so that we can really get the full value out of it.
Now, her strongest upgrades begin with her Soulsword, which is now going to deal 105 damage over the course of 3 bursts in about a 10-meter radius. Now, what differs between Darkchild and her regular form is obviously the demons are great in regular form, but in Darkchild, you almost never want to use them. The increase in overall potential is not that much compared to, let's say, her Whirlwind, which goes up massively in her overall damage. And this is what you're going to mainly be doing, portaling in and out, dashing, and doing as much spread AoE damage as possible. This is not only going to build up your shields to keep you alive, but also deal a ton of damage to take down squishies immediately. Now, you combine this with her recently buffed dash that deals a whopping 135 damage, or Magik's Charge Slash dealing double damage. You can quickly see how you can go for almost full team wipes if kept alive. If you're working with a Magneto, ask for that shield, or Mantis, ask for that damage buff.
In that, I'm also looking for one-shots. So let me show you a little one-shot thing I could do here. It's basically the Whirlwind dash combo, except it's a little bit harder to time. but it will one-shot any 250 hero, 100 to 0. It is much harder to time, though. If you dash too early, it will cancel your Whirlwind. So it is much harder to time than being in normal form.
I would say the number one mistake that I see in Darkchild is people treat it like the Hulk transformation, where they think they have way more health and they're pretty much invincible. If they all focus you, you're going to die. So you need to use this somewhat strategically and have a main goal in mind. Obviously, this is pretty good when the fight is chaotic, and just adding this to more chaos is going to lead to the best results. In short, this is going to be an ability you need some follow-up for. You can't just charge in Super Saiyan and hope everything goes okay, because all 6 of them are going to quickly kill you. Now, last but not least, we do have Magik's team-up ability, and she's not going to get anything herself outside of a damage boost, but both Psylocke and Black Panther get a pretty strong recall ability in portals if they remember to use it. And this is definitely nice if you are playing kind of a dive comp with Black Panthers, with Psylocke. It gives a lot more to these get in, get out type of characters. All right, guys, let's go and learn some of Magik's combos using some of these abilities. Now, the good thing about Magik is the better you get at the hero, the more comfortable you can be at landing some of her harder to hit combos. Now, it goes without being said, the hardest to hit combos are the best ones, such as the very common holding your Magik Slash all the way, releasing it into a dash, then a primary into a melee. And if you're good at it, this is obviously her best. However,
but one note about that glass combo is like that combo is good. Obviously, it's a lot easier to just hit one dash as opposed to, you know, you have to hit the full right click and then hit the dash. You know, whereas if you're just hitting the dash, you can throw the right click in there. It's almost guaranteed to hit.
what is like the most simple combo to learn from Magik?
Left click melee, right click, left click melee.
That's why they call me Magik.
So to slow it down, guys, that's her sword slash into a melee, into her Magik range slash, one more sword slash followed by a melee. Outside of that combo, which one would be your favorite Rymazing?
Portal, Whirlwind E, into left click, right click, left click.
All right, let's go ahead and close on some general like hero matchups.
I think as long as you're getting the dash hit and you're kind of getting the surprise factor, you're almost always going to win the matchup. And even if you're fighting a Hela, if you come from behind her and you hit a Whirlwind dash on her, you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. You know, she's gonna instantly, you know, get chunked. So I think you really can win a lot of matchups as long as you get the surprise factor on your opponent. Obviously, some matchups are harder than others. I think Namora is one of those. Namora can just bubble. You know, if he reacts to your dash, he bubbles, and then he has turrets shooting you, and you get slowed, and that can get really ugly. Also, Namora can ult you, and it disables both your portals and your dash. So if you're not ready for that, he can ult you during your ult, and you can get caught out and hit by the whale, which can be really scary. But Mantis is tough because obviously she has move speed, which makes it really hard for you to hit your dash compared to most characters. And her hitbox is pretty thin as well. So Mantis is really important that you use your right click to get her movement speed off of her before you go for her. Besides that, yeah, Penny, I actually don't think Penny is that threatening. Obviously, just don't fight the Penny, I would say. Yeah, basically, if Penny is putting her mines on her supports, then just go kill the Penny. And if the Penny is putting the mines on herself, then go kill her supports.
There's just so much I couldn't even cover in this guide, but for me personally, just practice on Magik. Get her combos down. If you find yourself dying too easily or quickly, probably means your positioning's off, or your role in the given fight or match is probably not what you're supposed to be doing. It'll take some time to assess who you can match up against, what to time against what cooldowns, and ultimately how to chain it all together. Don't get frustrated. Don't get worried. With enough practice, you'll be good to go. And there you go. That's everything you possibly need to know about how to play Magik. Definitely a rewarding hero. And another huge thank you to Rymazing for helping out with today's video. Drop down below what hero guides you want to see next. We've got Wolverine with Team Captain and the much requested Loki. And while you're down there, go ahead and subscribe, guys. Have a good one. Have a great one. To the next one. Happy rifling.